Hey, football fans, Zach Tucker here, getting you ready for the 4A state semifinal matchup between Weddington and Grimsley. It's time to go inside the headset with both coaches. And joining me now, we have the head man for Grimsley, Coach Brown. The coach, your team is coming off a pretty impressive win against Huff last Friday. Talk to me about what went right against the Huskies.
I thought our guys played really hard and really efficient on both sides of the ball and in special teams, but really clean, high-level football game from both teams, and just really proud of how our guys executed in critical moments. Never panicked, showed a lot of poise and just a lot of maturity. And we were up, got down by a couple, or they came back and scored a couple to tie the game, and we just continued to respond. And just says a lot about the character of our football kids and our staff, and just how they believe and how hard they're willing to fight.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you mentioned that your team never backed down, because I want to ask you about one play in particular here. Coming down the stretch, game was on the line. It was 4th and 1 with about 59 seconds left in the game. Ended up going back kind of against in your favor. Ended up going to 4th and 6. You guys go for it on 4th down. You could say that the offense was unfazed because Faison went out to the right, looked back over to the left and found DJ Howerton for the game sealing touchdown, really, for Grimsley. Just kind of take me back through the thought process behind that play.
Well, we got to 4th and 1. We were on the brink of field goal range, kind of borderline for us. For us at that point in time, really felt like going for it was our best play. And then Mitch had to come out of the game because he had gone down and wasn't injured, but had to stop the game because of him going down. So then we let the clock run, called timeout. Still felt good with what we had called and had an unfortunate penalty there that backed us up 5 yards. Didn't take a timeout after we were backed up, and made a play call that we felt good, something we'd worked on all week, something our offensive staff had designed and put together, and really liked the call at that moment. And again, just our guys executing in a critical moment. And it just, again, says a lot about their focus throughout the week, how they prepared, and then to be able to execute in a big-time moment just says a lot about those guys.
Speaking of, on the ensuing possession for Huff, the Huskies are kind of driving down the field. Your big defensive end, Bryce Davis, comes up with the sack, to stop the Huskies offense, stop the momentum, and run some more time off the clock there. How big of a play was that?
Well, I thought our defense handled the end of the game scenario really well. And again, something that we practiced and we worked throughout the season. Obviously, the sack by Bryce was huge, came at a critical time. But that whole unit, the last 50 seconds there, Huff had a timeout or two to be able to call. And our guys, again, made tackles, batted balls down, came up with a big play at the end of the game, kind of ripping it away from the receiver who's over there on the sideline. But the sack was a huge play. And, again, it's just our guys being disciplined and not panicking and handling things the right way in a critical moment.
Let's not forget about your star running back, Mitchell Summers. Big game for him as well, about 300 yards of offense, 2 touchdowns. It just doesn't seem like there's any moment or challenge that's big enough for him, right?
No, he's played in a lot of big games. Obviously, he's been our starter for 3 years and seen just about everything you could throw at him. And the guy just shows up every Friday night. And I always tell people, just watch him when he don't have the ball. A lot of guys do good things when they have the football in their hands. But he's making plays when he don't have the ball, making blocks, great effort always, and just, phenomenal player. And our offensive line played really well Friday night against a really tough, aggressive, physical, fast Huff defense. And just proud of that whole unit, how they played. And then, doesn't take much for Mitch. He finds a little crease and he can make guys miss. So we'll need the same thing again this week from those guys up front and from him as well.
Now, teams this time of the year have that survive in advance kind of mentality. You go from a tough game against Huff. Now you welcome Weddington back to Jameson Stadium. And, both teams are 13-0. What are some of the things that stand out to you about the Warriors on paper?
Well, we're somewhat familiar with these guys. We played them the last 2 years, regional final 2 years ago and in 4th round last year. And just a really well-coached, disciplined, sound football team. And think the two teams, two programs mirror each other a little bit here the last few years anyway. They want to run the football, and then they'll at times, get you off balance and hit you with big plays in the passing game. They have the ability to do. For them, it starts defensively up front, their front four, and then you throw in their linebackers. So really, the front seven is one of the best groups we've seen, in recent memory. Guys up front just can be problems, create a lot of havoc, and then those linebackers and of course Davis, that outside backer, just have the speed to make up for things when things pop past that front four. So it's going to take another great effort from our guys, a great week of preparation, and we're going to have to play extremely hard, tough, and again, not panic and make plays in critical moments, which I believe in our guys and we'll be ready to do. But it's going to be a high-level football game, and that's how it should be for the opportunity to go to the state championship.
And as you mentioned a little bit ago, it was 2 years ago that Weddington came to Greensboro and Grimsley knocked off Weddington. Then last year, you guys go down to Weddington. The Warriors knock off the Whirlies in that matchup. Last week, we talked about this motto of remember the one. So, what does it mean to you to get another crack here at Weddington?
Well, it's not so much the fact that we're playing them. We just didn't like how we went out last season, and more of us. At this time of year, if you don't play with passion and intensity, and if you're not physical and aggressive, then you're going to get beat, whether it's Weddington, Huff, whoever. And I felt like the last quarter and a half of that game last year that our football team didn't play with the passion that you have to play with when you're trying to win this late in the state playoffs against the best teams in the state. And so that's really kind of what that motto is more about. We expected those guys to be here. They're here every year. Weddington is, they're perennial state power, and they just always find ways to win and get the job done, which speaks volumes of their coaching staff. So, we understand that we got a huge challenge, but our guys and our staff will be ready, and we'll be ready to play hard and tough on Friday night, and looking forward to the opportunity and the challenge. This is what you do to have these moments and these opportunities. So looking forward to what's coming on Friday night.
Now, the winner of this game will advance to the state championship game. And it was just 2 years ago that Grimsley made an appearance in that game. And, most of the upperclassmen that are currently on the roster for Grimsley were underclassmen at that time. How special would it be to be able to get the chance to make another run at the state championship with these guys?
No, I'm extremely special. And that's what I mean. Special anytime, whether it's these guys or whoever. But, yeah, Bryce Davis, Andre Hill, Mitchell Summers, just to name a few, Chris Young, were big parts of our football team 2 years ago when we got beat by Newbern in the state championship. So, it'd be huge to get those guys back and give them an opportunity. But, this is what our guys work for. And that starts in January with our off-season program. And it's just a long process. And then when you finish the regular season, you run the gauntlet in the 4A West, having to try to get to where we're at right now. So, we play for that opportunity. We work for that opportunity. And, we understand that Friday night is going to be a huge challenge, but we're excited for that. And then, the opportunity to try to get back to Chapel Hill and play for a state championship is what we, set out to do when the year started.
We talked a little bit ago about one of the big plays that your quarterback, Faison Brandon, made in the game versus Huff last week. Before the game, it was announced that he won the North Carolina Gatorade Player of the Year award. What does that award say about Faison and the amount of work that he's put in and everything else that comes with that?
Well, it speaks volumes to him and the kind of player he is, obviously. But there's more to Faison than just throwing a football. The guy, everybody sees his talent, but he just does things the right way. Extremely humble, great teammate, loves his team, coachable, tremendous work ethic. There's so much more to him than, what the average person sees when they pop the film on or come to a game. And then, it also speaks volumes to the guys around him and his team. And Faison always deflects attention to his teammates and the guys that he plays with. So it's a tremendous honor for him, one that is very deserving. he's earned that. And then it also, again, is a reflection of the other kids in our program and who he plays with. And this is the ultimate team sport. And no matter how good one person is, it takes a lot of guys doing their job every single day for any individual to have success. And I'm happy for him and happy for our program. And he's a guy that deserves all the attention that comes his way, but he doesn't let it affect him at all.
Speaking of your team coming together, you guys had a service project last week before the Huff game as well, where you made some scarves with some of the students over at Kaiser Middle School. Why is it important to give back like this?
Well, that's something that we do throughout the year, and we're at Kaiser quite a bit, but we do different things throughout the year with our football program, and something we really put an emphasis on this past off season. And again, we've been going to Kaiser now for 6 or 7 years, but a lot of people do a lot for our football program. We have tremendous support here from our administration on down. Our booster club is extremely supportive. Our parents are supportive. So, a lot of things are done for our kids, and it's important for them to understand that, even though a lot of people are doing things for them, that we need to give back and do things for others. And it's been great. Our guys, I think if you're serving others and you're willing to serve your teammates, and I think the best teams are those that will serve one another. And so our guys enjoy the different activities and things that we do. We've had great participation within our program when it comes to that. And I think we see it carry over when we get in tough situations. Our team, has hiccups like everybody throughout the year, but when we get in tough battles, I think we draw back on the fact that we care about each other, and we're willing to help each other, encourage one another. And again, it goes back to serving one another. And I think that's how you get through tough times and tough games. And so, it's just part of our program, what we do, who we are. And it's very important to all of our kids and our staff, and obviously myself.
And again, big time matchup against Weddington on Friday at home at Jameson Stadium for this matchup. What's your final message to Whirly Nation out there before kickoff?
Well, obviously we need them to pack Jameson and be out, which I know they will. Had a lot of really cold games the last couple of weeks, but it's supposed to be like that this time of the year. But, we need them to bring their heaters and gloves and blankets or whatever it takes and pack Jameson Stadium and be there for our guys. And it takes all of us. We say that all the time. And our community and students and alumni have been great. And we know they'll be there ready to go on Friday night.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks so much for your time today, Coach Brown. I appreciate it, and good luck on Friday and the rest of the way of the season.
Thanks, Zach. Appreciate you.
For more Inside the Headset content, subscribe to the ABC 45 YouTube channel.